Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. We thank God for this day that he have made. We rejoice and we were glad in it. Mankind has always sought to chart his own destiny based on how he feels, what he thinks, and what he knew at any given time. In Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12, it reads that there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. In this particular proverb, or this particular chapter of Proverbs, verse 12, King Solomon, he was the writer of most of the Proverbs. He saw and he did many things in his lifetime. He said that there is a way which to man or mankind is the right way. That is, it seemed right to a man, but going down that path eventually leads to death. Now, death has a natural meaning, but it also has a spiritual meaning. We all have to die naturally at some point in time. But death spiritually is separation from God. Death can also be a continuous process if we see death as a situation where a person is going nowhere, a dead end, a cul-de-sac. This way that man feels is right leads him, so to speak, to a dead end. He is dead, or there is death for him as far as stagnation is concerned. He becomes frustrated, becomes isolated, then there is domination, and then in final analysis, eternal separation. Now this is the way of mankind, men and women. What he perceives or what we perceive in our own eyes. Now King David, who was the father of Solomon, pointed out a good way to him. And Solomon started out well. He also had a visit from God himself, and in that discourse that he had when the Lord appeared to him in a dream at night, the Lord emphasized this good way. But Solomon did things his way. He knew up front or beforehand that it was not right and pleasing in God's sight what he was doing. For the Bible tells us he had many strange wives, and his wives influenced him into idolatrous practices. And that eventually led to his separation from God. Although he was warned on 2 occasions, he did not take heed. In Matthew chapter 7, Jesus went on further to explain what Solomon was saying or is saying to us in Proverbs chapter 14 verse 12. Jesus explained it in further details. Jesus, in a discourse or a discussion he had with his disciples on the mount, he stated and he admonished them to make their entrance into God's kingdom through the straight gate. He also informed them that there is a gate that is wide, but both gates lead to somewhere. All the gates lead or would lead to somewhere. The straight gate had a narrow way. The wide gate had a broad way. Jesus then told his disciples that many people are on the broad way, but it leads to destruction. Few people find the straight gate and the narrow way, which leads to life eternal. Why? Because we as people, as individuals, as human beings, by nature are like sheep. We like to go our own way. There's no one to trouble us on the broad road. Everybody's thinking about him or herself, is not bothered about what is going on with the other person. There are no rules for entrance, and there are no rules to remain there. I once heard a young man say that people should be left alone to do what they feel like doing without any law or other hindrances. Sad to say, he left us at a very early age. He left us at a very early age, because that to him that was his perception, his perception, his philosophy, and his ideology. That's what he think, and as a man thinketh, so is he. So with that perspective in his head, he lived his life according to what he thought, and his life came to an early end. Now the prophet Isaiah, in Isaiah chapter 35, verse 4 to 10, says, "Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not, behold your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense, he will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. The parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the habitation of dragons, where each layer shall be grass with reeds and rushes." But in verse 8 it says, "And a highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness." Now the prophet Isaiah saw a highway and a way being made by Jesus, the coming Messiah, the one that was to come. On that highway, or on that road, or on that way, he saw the once blind, the ones who were once blind, seeing. The ones that were deaf were hearing. The lame man was leaping. The dumb was singing. Wildernesses became places with water. Deserts had streams. Parched grounds become pools. Thirsty lands spring forth water. And the habitation or the dwelling place of dragons was now growing grass and reeds and rushes. No wayfaring man, he said, he saw there. No lions or ravenous beasts. But then he saw a particular type of person there. He said, the redeemed. Verse 9, the latter clause. "But the redeemed shall walk there, and the ransom of the Lord shall return." He saw the redeemed and the ransom of the Lord living there and coming there on that way, that highway, the King's highway, with songs, everlasting joy, joy and gladness, and there was no sorrow nor sighing in that place. And he called that way the way of holiness. Now I was checking this highway, and there is something called the King's Highway, and the dictionary describes the King's Highway or a King's Highway as one that is protected by royal power. In other words, it is not a public place. On this highway, the king will traverse up and down with his subjects. Those who he deemed as his subjects will travel on this highway. So this highway that Isaiah saw in the spirit, he saw it being created by Jesus, the coming Messiah. Because the people that were occupying this way once went through suffering. They were once sick. The places were once dry and desolated lands. But when he looked around and he looked at the setting, it was just water. There were pools of water. Everything that was a wilderness before, now bringing forth fruit. He saw there was no ravenous beast there. There was no lions there, and he saw no wayfaring men there. A wayfaring man is a man that just traveling about the place and just happened to pass or happened to turn into a particular area, right? No purpose. He did not see no wayfaring person, and this is what we see. This is what we will see on the broad road. The broad way with the wide gate just have people sauntering along, going through life. Whatever happened. Going on their merry way. But Jesus said the end of that road leads to destruction. Now Jesus said in St. John chapter 14 verse 6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So this way that Isaiah was speaking about is a person. It is Jesus the Christ, the Son of the living God. Because he is here saying in St. John chapter 14, I am the way. This way, the way that seemeth right to a man is not the way of holiness. It is not the way of righteousness. It's not the way that will lead to life eternal. It's not the way that will lead to God's kingdom. It is man's way, and it will lead to destruction. Now, the way, as far as the direction we go in, is in the way of righteousness. It is a wholesome way. It is straight, but there are conditions to be met. There's a narrow gate, but the narrow gate, that means that you must come with purpose. There must be some type of discipline. Yeah? You know, when you go to catch the bus or other forms of public transport, you must line up. You don't just rush to the bus, but there's some form of discipline and order. So the narrow way or the straight gate is a gate and a way of order through which you must desire to go. So this is all about choices too, because there are two ways set before man. So in the final analysis, we have to make that choice. Either we are going the way of destruction, or we are going the way that leads to life eternal. Jesus said in another gospel, strive. He said the same thing, but he said strive to enter in at the straight gate. So we must have the desire. We must make an effort. Sinner or saint must make an effort to get on that way, get on that narrow way which leads to life eternal. And not just life, not just life eternal in the future, but it leads to more abundant life now. It is not an easy task. It will not be easy, because Jesus says strive. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take diligence. It's going to take persistency and consistency. It won't be easy, but in the long run, it will be worth it.